Today in our 2005 Ford F-250, we'll be installing the Demco Hijacker Premiere Series above bed base rails and custom installation kit for fifth wheel hitches. Part number DM8552-002-71. These rails are an industry standard design, which will allow us to use gooseneck adapters, fifth wheels, or any other accessory which attaches to above bed rail systems like this. It's a very simple installation with minimal drilling required for the install. We only have to drill 4 holes in our bed of our truck, enlarge 1 hole on the driver's side, and drill 1 hole on the passenger side. These rails feature a nice textured powder coat finish, which will resist corrosion and offer us many years of rust-free service. Now, unlike a lot of the other fifth wheel rail kits on the market, this utilizes an outside the frame mounting technique, so it's easy in order to get your bolts to torque. A lot of them are on the inside of the frame and they drop down with carriage bolts, and sometimes they're above the fuel tank, so getting in there with a torque wrench can be difficult. Okay, we've gone ahead and made a straight line across the back of our bed for our rear rail. We followed the instructions and used the appropriate length to make this measurement depending on the length of our bed. Now we'll take our rail and slide it directly over that line, so it's right in the middle of our rail. With our rail in place, we'll make sure it's centered on our truck bed. Okay, we're about 2 7/8 here and about 2 7/8 here. With the rail centered up, we'll center punch the outermost hole on each side. Okay, slide our rail out of the way now. Now we'll drill a pilot hole through our center punch. Okay, now we'll use the step bit and enlarge our hole to the appropriate size. I want to verify there's nothing underneath. And there is nothing, so we're good. Okay, with our holes drilled, we'll slide the rail back in place. All right, now we'll take our 5/8 of an inch by 3-inch long bolt, one of our lock washers, and a flat washer. Drop it through the rail, down through the hole we drilled. We'll do the same on the other side of the rail. Okay, with our back rail in position, even though it's not secure, we'll use it as a guide with our assembled fifth wheel head to determine where our front rail is going to be. With our fifth wheel slider sitting on top of it, holding it down, we made sure that our rail is centered in relation to our truck bed side to side and is square in relation to the back rail. Now we'll center punch our holes again. We're using the outermost holes. We'll drill our pilot holes once again. Okay, with our pilot holes drilled, we slid our rail out of the way so we have clean access with our step bit, and we'll enlarge our holes. Let's double check underneath and make sure we're not going to drill down anything important. All right, now we'll slide our rail back into place. We'll drop down our bolts with our lock washers and flat washers again. Now we're on the driver's side of the vehicle. We have our tires off. You don't have to, but it does make it easier to get in there with a drill and a wrench to tighten everything up. Take our frame bracket here. We'll slide it up in position. Now the second hole from the front, this hole behind it in the frame, we need to remount to a 17/32 size. So now we know which hole that is. Take our bracket down and enlarge that hole. All right, so here's our nut plate that we're securing our frame rail to our above bed rails with. You notice it has this tang on it right here. This needs to face up and towards the back of the truck. We have someone in the truck bed right now to help us install this. So we'll slide our frame bracket on up again. We'll have someone turn the bolt in the bed until it starts. All right, we're good there. It's got it started for us now. We'll move on to the front bolt, same process. All right, with that started, we're good. Now we'll go over to the passenger side and repeat the same process of using our nut plates here to get our passenger side frame bracket in place. We don't need to worry about enlarging this front hole though. We will actually drill a completely new hole in that location here later. So let's repeat the same process for getting the plate in place. All right, with our bracket now bolted to our top rails, we'll just pry up on it a little bit. Insert our 3/4 inch bolt through the middle here. All right, you can see where our bolt comes through our inside of our frame rail right here. There's also a wiring harness in the way. So we'll grab the wiring harness, pull it away from our bolt enough so we can slide on our flat washer. Then we'll thread on our nylon lock nut. We'll take our 1/2 inch knurled bolt, slide it inside here into our front hole, and we'll thread on a flange nut. Now we'll take our plate that's included with the kit, another one of our knurled bolts, stick it through, and we'll come through on the back side here and slide it in place for our rear hole. And we'll thread on our flange nut again. Okay, good. We'll repeat the same process on the passenger side for our middle and our back bolt. Now on our passenger side, the most front hole here, where we marked, we need to drill this out completely to a final diameter size of 17/32. We'll work our way up, starting with a small drill bit to be a pilot hole. We've already verified that there's nothing behind that we're going to drill into. Okay, that's our final size. Now we're still on our passenger side here. With our hole drilled out, we'll take our included fish wire, stick it in the hole, and it'll come out. Okay, with the wire through, we'll thread on our bolt, and we'll pull it up and into our bracket. Okay, this is really tight with that bolt back there. You'll probably need a pry bar or a screwdriver or a hammer to knock the head of it in past the shock mount. Then it just pulls right in. Okay, we'll hold the back of the bolt in place with our finger, and we'll take off our pull wire. You can just unscrew it, or you can rip it off. We're not going to need it again. And we'll thread on our flange nut. Okay, with that done, we have all of our bolts in place now. We can begin the sequence of tightening them. All right, with our side brackets in place now, with all the hardware on, we're back in our truck bed, and we'll start tightening down our rail bolts here using a 15/16 socket. Now that we have all 4 of the bolts tightened up top, we'll tighten down our bolts on the driver's side frame bracket, do our 3/4 inch nuts here. Okay, we have a wrench holding our nut in place for our large 3/4 bolt. We're using an 1 1/8 wrench and an 1 1/8 socket, and we'll tighten it down. And we'll repeat the same process on the other side. All right, now we'll torque all of our hardware, starting with our frame brackets to the amount specified in the instructions. Now we'll torque all of our top bolts to the amount specified in the instructions. And that completes our install of the Demco Hijacker Premiere Series above bed base rails and custom installation kit for fifth wheel hitches, part number DM8552-002-71 on our 2005 Ford F-250.
Click the link below to shop, learn more, or visit us at etrailer.com.